Representation is clearly a key concept of media studies, and it can be seen in some to most music videos. For example, these music videos will highlight issues like racism, political issues in society. And I think Childish Gambino's This Is America is a really good example of how representation is a key thing in the music videos. So for example, this video talks strongly about the racism which is in America these days. We're seeing it more prevalent than ever with the Black Lives Matter movements. So the video starts with him shooting someone, which is quite weird because that person is also dressed in white and has something over their heads. This is kind of showing that the black people are only killing the white people. And it kind of also is quite interesting because these are the opinions which most Americans share, and you see these opinions all over social medias, and people now are getting in trouble for their opinions. But for example, there's also connotations of animalistic behavior as well, with him dancing and he's topless. And then as soon as he shoots him, I think that this kind of starts a message which is very strong throughout the video. And the fact the body's dragged away by black people, it's kind of showing that the black people are the killers and also help out the killer and be the accomplices. So I think that's a big thing. David Gauntlet's theory of identity is also quite important in this music video, as he suggests that the media just reflects the issues in the world around them. It doesn't create the issues. And this is definitely true because Gambino's just raising awareness for things he feels strongly about, which are the racism that he faces daily. So I think that Gauntlet's theory is reinforced by this music video. And I think the fact that everyone in the video is also black kind of has a strong message about how strong they are as a community. But inevitably, I think this representation is very negative and quite problematic. For example, as well, when he's walking through the choir and they're all dancing, and then he just pulls a gun, it's quite kind of a weird thing to do, and then just walks away like nothing happened. So Childish Gambino is trying to say that American people think that the black people just do it and don't care what happens, whereas that's totally not what happens in the real world. But he's just trying to voice his opinion. And there's a lot of pandemonium and madness in the video as well. And I think he's doing that to trying to show that everyone thinks that they're kind of crazy and uncontrolled, but in the real world, it's really not the case. So that is what I think about the representations in This Is America. But I think this video is very, very important and has been in society with 800 million views because it kind of just shows how many people think this is an important problem that we have to solve, and that's why it's gained so much exposure. So I think this representation actually gained popularity for Childish Gambino, as without it, this video would not be as popular, and the idea in itself has provided exposure for the problem and the artist. So I think it's very effective in what it's done. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thanks. This music video by Chase Atlantic, which is our chosen artist, has strong representations of the male gaze, which is quite a big theory. It's Laura Mulvey's theory. So I think in this video we kind of see a lot of the video through the perspective of the male actor, who is the main singer in this band. And all the kind of extreme close-up shots we get of her are most likely through his eyes, using the male gaze theory, as they're kind of close-ups of her body and her hair, and especially when she's walking around, they kind of follow her, which I think is directly targeting Laura Mulvey's theory here. And I think that's actually important because videos like this show us that this is still going on in society, and there's still quite a lot of these representations going around. And also Stuart Hall's theory of encoding and decoding are quite prevalent in this video, because I think that the main director would have encoded these meanings so that we can kind of decode, and as an audience, like kind of worship the female actor. And I think that's important, so as it helps us understand the lyrics of the song, and then it helps us understand why the main singer of Chase Atlantic is kind of so hooked and attracted to this girl, because we are seeing her through his eyes, and that means it's understandable for us. Also, I think that Roland Barthes' theory of semiotics is quite prevalent here, as the signs of her crying and stressing out kind of also signify that she's really into him. And that as a representation is important because it's kind of the reverse in society that we normally see. We normally see the boys more interested in the girls. So I think this is quite important. And also towards the end of the video, we see her watching him on the screen and stressing out. And I think that's also really important because it does counter this male gaze, as it's kind of the opposite as she's watching him. So I think the fact that the director shows both the male gaze and an opposite opinion to the male gaze is quite important. But the video both reinforces and kind of opposes the ideology of Laura Mulvey's theory. But I think at the end of the day, the representation of this video is kind of, wow, look at that woman. But also at the end, kind of, hold on a minute, she's looking at the man. And I think that's actually important to the audience that we see that. Yeah, and also representation as a key kind of concept in media studies is in all music videos. Some other Chase Atlantic videos have kind of the similar representations, but then they kind of also change their opinions about the male gaze in other videos, which I'll analyse in my deconstruction, but that's it for the male gaze in this video. Thanks.